on this week's episode of Live Large.
Hey, what's up guys? So this week I'm going to teach you guys how to do upright rows properly.
Every time that you do something, you want to look different, or you want there to be a different outcome every time. So what made the difference doing these shows?
So what we did was I asked all my Facebook fans, what do you guys want me to ask pro bodybuilder Ben Pakulski? And you've got a lot of fans, man. This segment of Live Large, I want to introduce you to two super close and amazing people, been coined as a power couple within our fitness industry. How do you guys stay motivated and focused?
From a weak and scrawny Skinny Vinny to 210 pounds of solid muscle, Vince Del Monte is now living large in and out of the gym, and so can you.
Hey, what's up guys? So this week I'm going to teach you guys how to do upright rows properly. There's a lot of controversy with this exercise for a good reason. When a lot of people do upright rows, they go very close. When they're doing that, they're putting a lot of external rotation on their shoulders, kind of like you put in an arm bar. So that's where the caution comes in. So what we're going to do to prevent any external rotation on the shoulder joint is we're going to take a wide grip, and we're not going to pull it right up to our chin. We're going to go wide, and we're going to pull it up to the nipple line. So it's an excellent exercise really to round up the delts and bring up the upper traps. One little thing I do is kind of roll my shoulders forward so I get my traps in there too. Flare my elbows out, and I'm only going the nipple line. Try and hang out with the weight a little at the top. Get your chest over the bar a little bit.
Welcome to Ask Vince, and we're continuing the conversation on how I recently became a professional fitness model with the WBFF.
So Vince, when we first got together, I asked you if you were going to be continuing to do these shows, these fitness shows, and you said no, because every time that you do something, you want to look different, or you want there to be a different outcome every time. So what made the difference doing these shows?
So yeah, I mean, my whole thing with these fitness shows is if I'm gonna compete again, I wanna look different. And that comes from my background with competitive athletics. And for me to run a race the same time that I did in my previous race, it's like, now I'm just turning this into a hobby. And for me, this sport, I don't see it as a hobby. Like, I don't go up on stage in a little bikini because it's a hobby of mine. I view it as a competitive sport, and because I'm an athlete, I want to improve. So for me to go up on stage and look the same size and the same body fat and the same symmetry, to me is kind of silly, because I want to present something different. So the first the first thing that made a difference was having a strong reason why I wanted to compete, and I wanted to earn my pro card. Just recently, a lot of my friends are getting their pro cards, and they're really blowing up this organization, the WBFF, and endorsing the athletes and that, and I wanted to be on equal level playing field as a lot of these other guys who could call themselves professional fitness models. So that was one goal. I wanted to add that to my personal resume. I wanted to have that lifetime achievement. Two, I wanted to look better than I'd ever done before. So I knew I had to first bulk up, so I hired a professional bodybuilding coach. He's also an IFBB Pro himself, one of the top 2 Canadians right now as we speak, Ben Pakulski, and he is also one of the top 10 or 20 bodybuilders in the world right now. So I knew if I wanted to look like a professional, I had to go to one of the professionals. And the first difference that I made was I hired him to create a bulk building plan that got me up to 227, and we used that in November and December. So I built some new muscle I didn't have before. So that was the first difference. So I came into my cut bigger than I'd ever had before, and it was quite a bit of quality muscle mass, not just weight. Two, I had him do a physique assessment on me. He looked at my body, and he pointed out a lot of things I didn't even know. He looked at my, he said, you got to bring out your hamstrings, you've got no lower lats, you got to work on your upper biceps. I thought my upper chest was strong. He's like, you got to work on your upper chest, your side, your abs aren't there. And he just like told me exactly what we needed to do. and we created a plan. And then the next step was to execute the plan. So I had somebody working with me towards one specific goal. We weren't trying to incorporate kettlebell training and do 3 different diets at once. We had one specific plan to get down to 195, sub 5% body fat, stupid shredded. Stupid ripped, and that was the plan, and we executed. So I had a coach. That was big. The next thing was we relocated to Florida for the winter time. We went to an environment that was warmer. We had better training facilities, better people, more high caliber people around us in the gym to keep us motivated. And I'll just give you guys one more thing. I had Flavia. She was she's like she said last week, she was my biggest critic, but she's also my biggest fan. And she got on board with the diet. She got ready. She decided to do her own photo shoot so she could get on her own diet. So she was following something different than me, but she was training equally as hard, going to the gym equally as much, making sacrifices just as much as I was on the weekends when we went to restaurants. So I had Flavia to support me, and that made a huge difference. So having a coach, so bulking first, coach second, relocating third, and having Flavia come on board and do her own diet and prep so that we could do this together and shop with similar foods and stuff. 4 things made a big difference this time around on how I got my pro card.
Good.
Those are 4 things I didn't have on my previous shows either. So.
Good. Thanks.
What's up, guys? So this week we're going to be talking to Pac-Man Ben Pakulski, and he's going to be a special guest August 29th and 30th at Live Large Live. So you guys know he's also getting me ready for Worlds, and he's very hungry right now, so we're going to keep this quick. Just finished doing some filming for his upcoming Mass Intentions program coming out. So what we did was I asked all my Facebook fans, what do you guys want me to ask pro bodybuilder Ben Pakulski? And you've got a lot of fans, man. I got like tons of questions, and I'm gonna ask you the dumb ones too, if you don't.
Whatever, man. Let's bring it. Nothing's a dumb question.
All right. So everyone wants to know about your delts, man. Cannonball delts. What's going on? How'd you get them?
How do you get your delts? Well, you know what? Truthfully, the same way I get everything else is applying intention, applying strict form, trying to isolate as much as possible. People say, well, is there a place for isolation exercises when you're trying to build mass? Building mass is about isolation exercises. It's about being as specific as you possibly can, contracting the muscles you need to contract to get the job you're trying to get done. So for me, it's about locking down my abdominal wall, not allowing any swinging, anything like this going on. It's just locked down here, this is short, and I'm coming up to the side. Wherever it happens to be, everything is very strict, everything's very controlled, and there's always a goal and an intent with everything I do.
Is it true you used to be a long distance runner in high school?
Fact.
You're not kidding me.
No fallacy.
This guy's always joking around with me. I never know if he's...
That's a fact, not a fallacy. For about a year, I was doing some long distance running, maybe 2 years. I was about 160 pounds at the same height, 5'10", and I actually posted a picture from my girlfriend the other day, and she's like, she couldn't believe it was me. She's like, that's not you? And I was like, that's me. I actually showed my mom, and I was like, who's that? This has been about 15 years since she's seen it, so she doesn't know what it looks like. All
right, you just mentioned your mom. Let's quickly talk about your parents. I heard your parents aren't genetically blessed. I thought when I met you, I got to meet his parents. There must be like really
right. I mean,
gifted.
one of the common misconceptions that we get as pro bodybuilders, or at least that I get, is, well, you're very blessed, and your parents must look great, and well, really, my parents have never been in the gym in their life, especially my mother. My dad, used to be a football player, maybe in high school, and probably could have gone to college, but decided he needed to work instead. And since then, it's been, not into fitness and not into health, and nobody in my family works out. And I've actually recently signed my dad up with a personal trainer for the first time in his life, and he was blown away because he was doing boxing and things like that. He loved it, but he's 53 years old and has never been in the gym since he was 17.
That's interesting, man. I would have never guessed. So
no muscle whatsoever.
Let's talk about your. I know that you hate these questions, but best tip for mass building.
Oh, generic question. The best tip for mass building.
I know.
You know what? It's impossible to speak to that unless I have a specific area. But if I wanted to say one tip, I would say maybe 2 tips: consistency and tenacity.
Beautiful. Recently, you just did 4 shows: Flex Pro, Arnold Classic, went off to Australia, went to Germany, 4 shows like in a short period of time. I think a lot of guys want to know just like your overall philosophy towards dieting, not specifics, but are you low carb, ketogenic, are you high, is there?
Man, I'm going to speak to, basically, I'm about being healthy, being holistic, and optimizing my health before anything. I believe a healthy body is a successful body, is a body that's going to grow. A healthy organism is going to grow, bottom line, right? At the end of the day, we are part of the earth. We're trying to be healthy. If you're, toxic and acidic and your body's not healthy, it's not going to be optimally synthesizing protein and functioning optimally. One thing I want to touch on when you ask that question, what's my philosophy toward dieting? Really simple. I mean, everyone always bitches about, well, I gotta diet now, I gotta go low carbs. And be appreciative for what you have, because you're training for something that's an awesome endeavor. You're able to do it, first of all, physically. You're able to eat some of the best foods in the world. Yeah, sure, it's difficult, but why not? At the end of the day, you're making something of yourself. And that's one of the things I try to set as a goal for myself, is when you set goals that make something of you to achieve them. And that's one of the rules that I live by, is set lofty goals that, the goal isn't the end result, it's what you become by achieving that goal. So that's one rule that I live by.
That's awesome. Let's piggyback on that. So what keeps you personally going? I mean, 4 shows, short period of time. You want to hit the Olympia. Maybe you can update them on what the status is there. Now, what inspires? I mean, our sport is full of disappointment. Athletics in general is full of probably more disappointment. But so, what inspires you? What keeps you going?
And for me, it's never a disappointment. I mean, every time I step on stage, I'm so much better than I was the year before, which is so much more you can say for most of the guys in my sport. And it's because I optimize everything, and I'm constantly getting better. I'm constantly growing. I always have a goal. I have a short-term, long-term goal. I want to improve this body part. I want to improve this aspect of my mental training. For me, it's always a mental game too. It's like I'm trying to make my brain believe that that I can do it, that it's easy. There's never a point where I'm like, oh shit, this sucks. I don't want to do this. Or maybe it is, and then you use that as a challenge. You can read all these great books and you can listen to all these great audio tapes and things like this, but at the end of the day, I mean, life is the true test. If you can read these books and you're going to college or you're going to university and you read a book to write a test, and so when you read these books in life, what's the test? Life is the test, and if you can't apply it to your life, what's the point? So really, that's my application for that stuff.
Okay, I got a curveball here for you. Anyways, we're just reading these right off my Facebook wall, guys. Like, this isn't scripted. You guys can see this is like right off my Facebook wall. So I'm just going to read this one. This is, all right, I know you love these questions. I heard, this is what he heard. He heard that in pro bodybuilding, most of the guys are not natural. I've also heard that the training of the pros isn't good for normal guys. Where does that leave me?
Whether or not people in the pros are natural is completely irrelevant to how they train. If bottom line, whether you're taking extracurricular supplements or not, you know how to build muscle. Watch a pro bodybuilder train; he'll kick anybody's ass. Like drugs or not. I mean, at the end of the day, those guys are busting their ass. They're working harder than anybody. Whether or not that's enhanced or not has nothing to do with how they're training. It has to do with how they're recovering. And that's, I guess, the thing you need to get through your head is pro bodybuilders know how to build muscle. That's the end of the day. They know how to execute. They know how to eat. They know how to grow, whether genetically blessed or not. I mean, they're still in there busting their ass, probably 5 to 6 hours a day, some of them. Some of them may be doing a lot less, some of them are just blessed. But for myself, it's 5 to 6 hours a day, and I know how to do everything I wouldn't say I do everything perfectly. I don't think I know how to do everything by any means. I'm always trying to learn. One thing I say is the more you learn, the less you know. Right. So, of course, pro bodybuilders, what we do is applicable to anyone who's trying to even put on 5 pounds of muscle. It's applicable to a woman who's pregnant. Watch someone who train. If they know what they're doing, it's applicable to everybody. A movement is a movement, a human being is a human being, an athlete is an athlete. At the end of the day, an athletic endeavor and a movement is an athletic endeavor and a movement.
So what can everybody watching really learn from the pros? You're the best in the sport. You are the best in the world. You're doing something better than everybody else. Because I know there's a lot of guys who take stuff from my gym and they look like crap. They don't. Yeah. They're not obviously doing a lot of things right. So what do you think the common denominator is amongst the top guys? Let's put Gen X, forget Gen X, and we know, what's maybe something that you feel you have like an edge on, like you figure it out, like if I keep doing this, I'm gonna keep moving forward.
1% better every day. I mean, it's like anything you do in your life, I mean, that's the only advantage. There's no secret pill, there's no magic weapon, there's no, train properly, keep yourself healthy. The reason I preach training properly, you can go in the gym and chances are you can probably build some muscle from training like shit, pardon my language. But at the end of the day, 1, you want to stay healthy. 2, you want to develop properly symmetrical proportioned muscle. So if you're training improperly, chances are muscles are going to start to become disproportionate. You're going to get one muscle stronger than the next. Things are going to start to happen in your body where you're getting funky curvatures in your spine, your shoulders, things like this. So we want to avoid that, and we want to stay healthy. And where these different weird proportions come in, that's where injuries start to develop.
Yeah.
Okay, so my thing is, stay healthy, stay proportionate, train properly. She developed muscle properly. I'm 31 years old, been training for almost 15 years, 14 years. I get about 15 years, and I don't have an injury to speak of, and how many bodybuilders at this age who are in the top 20 in the world can say that? And literally I could go in and train at any time and not have to, I feel great. I feel like a young 18-year-old man, and it's awesome. So
Good. I got one more last question. So what was it like training your favorite client, Vince Del Monte?
Training for your show?
Yeah, share
honestly?
some fun stories, and you can be honest, man.
Okay,
honest.
no, of course I would be, right?
This is what they like, yeah.
So at the end of the day, I love training Vince because, I'm gonna give you the positive and negative, don't worry. I love training Vince because Vince loves it, Vince has a passion, Vince works hard, okay? Vince sees a goal and he works toward it. The problem I had with Vince is Vince has a great deal of knowledge when it comes to fitness and nutrition, but he may not have specific knowledge when it comes to what we're trying to do and get him really contest ready. So Vince is trying to apply his knowledge of really basic nutrition and optimum training to what I was trying to teach him. So we're getting two different schools of thought, and it's not working toward the same goal. So we had a little bit of butting heads where Vince called me or texted me or emailed me and go, Ben, this is what I did today. And I go, Vince, this is exactly what I told you to do. There's a reason behind everything I tell you to do. If you question what I tell you to do, ask me, and I'll give you the exact scientific reason. And every time you ask me, I did. Right. So and there's days where Vince goes, well, I kind of got off track, or I wasn't responding as well, so I just decided to cut this out or change this. Or Vince, there's a reason for everything I do. Everything is timed out, everything's planned, as with everything we do in training and nutrition and everything. So that was a bit of a difficult thing that Vince and I ran into. Was like, oh, I decided to do this. Why'd you decide to do that? I didn't tell you to do that. Just stick with the plan. You'll be in the best shape of your life. Trust me. Put your faith in me and trust me, and you'll do it. Okay. And you did for the last 4 weeks. Well, for the first 8 weeks, it was awesome. And then he kind of went off a little tangent for 2 weeks, and then he came back for the last 4 weeks. And he got in the best shape of his life. We got him under 5% body fat. And then for the next one, we're going to get him around 4% body fat, just because now he trusts me. And there's no more, well, maybe I'll do this and maybe I'll do that. And also the peace of mind of trusting me is great too. Right. So, yeah.
Okay, I think that's great. I think we've said quite a bit. Your goals, what are you looking forward to these days? And,
a lot of my fans out there are like, oh, Pac-Man, you doing the Olympia? No, I think I'm going to take it off this year. 1, I didn't qualify. That means I'm probably not ready. 2, I probably could have qualified if I decided to, by doing Tampa, Toronto, or one of the subsequent shows. I'm really a believer in every time I step on stage, I want to be better. I don't just want to go there to compete. So next time you're going to see me step on stage is going to be next spring, and I'm going to be significantly better. I'm going to be up there with the top 6 to 8 guys in the world, because that's the goal I set for myself. And if I'm not ready to step on stage and do that at the Olympia this year, there's no point in doing it. I don't compete to compete. I compete to win. I compete to be successful and to show what I've got and show that I've been working my butt off and show that I'm intelligent and I'm healthy and show that I have a love and passion for the sport.
Absolutely, good. And you guys can also stay tuned for Ben's brand new training system, Mass Intentions, and it's the specific method that he's using to prepare me and some other top level athletes for the World Championships in a few months.
Also what I use to prepare myself.
Anyways, I'm not going to say anymore. Just stay tuned, and also make sure you make your butt, get your butt into a seat August 29th and 30th in Toronto. He will be one of the highlight speakers. He'll also be on the gym floor working with our attendees. So you have an opportunity to work with one of the best bodybuilders in the world. Very rare opportunity. I hope he sees it. All right, see you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Vince Del Monte here, and this segment of Live Large, I want to introduce you to 2 super close and amazing people, Matt and Emily Stirling. They're been coined as a power couple within our fitness industry, and very, very unique couple. They're both world champion athletes. They've both won their respective events, bodybuilding and the figure competition with the WBFF. And I've had the pleasure of knowing them for many years as friends, and they're also very successful business owners. They're running a booming personal training business. They have dozens of athletes who train under Team Stirling. I want to just know what drives you guys, what's next, how you guys stay focused, because you guys are balancing a personal relationship. These guys are recently married, as of like 2 or 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
3 years. Okay, all right, 3 years. So they got a few on me, and a business, and your preparation for the World Championships. Right. A lot of amazing things, all right under the Live Large. So maybe Emily, you can just talk a bit about how do you guys stay motivated and focused?
Well, it never really ends. Like from one thing to another, we just catch fire on everything. So from competing to personal training, to starting a business, to competing at the same time, we seem to take on so many things that's what motivates us, knowing that we can take on a lot of things and successfully actually attack them. So for me, it's never enough. I can never do something to overload into the point where it's not successful or it's not benefiting me. So I think Matt's caught the same fire, and that's where I find my passion comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. We have that whole like can't stop, won't stop mentality, and and another big thing for us too is like having a support system, and we've always had that with each other and the people around us, and I think it's great. I mean, it's good for our wellness, and I think the two of us, we've really drove each other forward in every aspect of our whole fitness life together.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So how do you stay focused? A lot of people, they've got their hand in all these different hats. You guys are like committed to the fitness industry, to your clients, to yourselves, to your own personal fitness goals. It's like, is it just that, staying focused? Or how do you avoid all the distractions and options that come your way?
Sometimes you have to ask yourself, well, like, what is the focus, today or, whatever next week, right? And so I think it's just prioritizing things. And like you said, we're competing and managing athletes and managing two businesses, so I guess it does come down to prioritizing things. And there's points where, we have to say, okay, we have to worry about ourselves first, right? But
I would love to hear just like, where are you guys working towards? Let's inspire them. Just sometimes stating what your goals are right now, like just share it. What do you guys want to do with your personal life, with your professional life, with your physique life?
Personal life, I think, kind of falls into professional life. I think everything's mended into one now because you have to live the lifestyle. I obviously want to keep competing because I enjoy it. I want to start running camps where I'm traveling and just networking and hitting into different areas. I want to start doing videos, like different things where I can just kind of broaden my horizon, maybe work a little bit less hours eventually. I'm going to have to put more hours into it before I can work less hours.
Absolutely.
But I just want to take it to the next level and open up any possibility that's going to benefit me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think Emily's totally right. I mean, we were starting to do those kind of things, and for the longest time we were just doing personal training, right? Well, I guess we started at the front desk, and then we moved our way up to management. We started doing training, and then we became owners of the gym, and so now we're stretching out even further, right? We're trying to touch people, literally around the world now, doing online training, and I think that's really taken it to the next level for us. So it's not just that one-on-one in person, but also through the internet, and it's proved to be good for us so far. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Let's touch on one more thing, you guys. I know you guys have had a lot of mentors, coaches. You guys value the, the whole component of, modeling successful people. So who keeps you guys motivated? Who keeps you accountable? Who do you guys look up to? Touch on that.
I mean, I've had quite a few mentors. It depends where you go with. I mean, even Jeff Russo was one to me, and even yourself, Vince. I mean, I saw how successful you were in the whole, consulting side of, the business within gyms, and I thought, like, Jesus, guys, he's making six figures just selling training and stuff, but there's a reason why. Numbers are numbers, but what is it? How is he captivating people? And so even yourself, I mean, you've been a little bit of a mentor to me as well, and so there's lots. I mean, I find that I'm always looking up to different people, right, and seeing success in their lives. I'm trying to incorporate it in mine and see how I can put that out. So,
who are you looking up to?
You know what? It comes into personally, like, whoever is doing the same thing that I'm doing, I will look up to. So before I started into the fitness industry, I was looking up to people that were doing what I was doing. Now I'm competing with those people, which is really cool. And then once you get there and you're at that level, you start looking into people that are doing things that you don't do. So like yourself and Jeff, that's the whole business side of it. And that's something that I've always wanted to do but never knew how to. And then I see people that are close to me that are good people that are doing it. And then I actually start to learn and feed off of them. And now I'm finding that I'm actually feeding off of my own athletes. Like 3 years ago, when I wasn't where I am today at the top or a pro world champion, I was doing all these things that was like the hunger, the drive to get there. And now I see some of my athletes that are doing the same thing, and it re-motivates me to remember my roots and where I came from. And I see them putting as much effort and passion. It reminds me not to step down, because as soon as I step down on any of my efforts, there's always somebody that's willing to step up. So I'm finding inspiration in my own athletes.
Awesome. I think that's great, guys. For those who don't know, we're all competing together, getting ready for August 27th World Championships in Toronto. I hope you guys can come and watch this spectacular event. Athletes from all around the world are going to be competing. best of the best, and you will be able to see both of these guys at their best shape ever. And they'll also, hopefully you guys can attend Live Large Live. They will also be two of the guests at the live event. You'll be able to train and meet and ask questions, and these are two of the most educated individuals I know, most passionate, and as you can see, they've already achieved a lot at their young age, and wish you guys all the best, and keep at it with the training, and we're going to see you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you so much for watching Season 1 of Live Large TV. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed filming it for you. I do have to say it's probably the highlight of my week, putting together this show, getting your feedback, hearing how you're taking what you learn and going out and taking action on it and achieving your own Live Large results in all areas of your life. What do we got next for Season 2? Oh man, you're going to be absolutely blown away. I am going to show you exactly how I'm preparing for August the 27th, the WBFF World Championships. I'm going to show you how I'm eating, how I'm training, the people who are helping me get ready, and I'm going to introduce you to more people who are living large in their own lives, and that's all coming to you very shortly in Season 2 of Live Large TV. It's only going to get bigger, it's only going to get better, and it's only going to be the best way for you to live large in your own life. Talk to you soon.
Experience Live Large with Vince Del Monte. Click subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. Don't forget to show some love and click the like and share button.